The more you rehearse a scene of yesterday, the more authority you loan it over today. And yet, why do we rehearse? To feel safe, to be prepared, to be justified. All the while, the very act by which we seek safety is the act by which we renew fear. The more we try to demonstrate control by revisiting the moment, the less of the real control we have. Let loose right now. Release it, loose it, and let it go. Not by force, not by denial, but by turning where the authority is. God is. There is no was in God. There is no then in God. The presence we speak of is not a memory. It is the living now. And the instant you return to the now of God is, the past's claim upon your feeling, your breath, your body, ends. You know the tide that comes. A picture flashes, a sentence someone said. You drive by a certain street and the whole body goes back. The jaw, the stomach, the breath. Suddenly the old movie lights up and you are drafted into it without a summons. In that very place, without moving a step, we learn the reversal. We stop trying to heal a picture by thinking about the picture. We stop using the mind to promise us a safety it can never deliver. We turn within and we lean quietly into the fact. God is. I of my own self can do nothing. It has to be God's grace. Alive in consciousness now. This is not a slogan to pin on a wall. It is a living practice. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. Not later, not when you have time, not after you finish defending yourself to your own mind. Now. In the middle of the surge, withdraw your attention from the picture, not by pushing it away, but by giving your attention to presence. God is. Peace is not something sent to you from afar. Christ doesn't send these things. Christ is these things. Peace as the activity of God, felt as your very atmosphere when you cease feeding yesterday. So it is. We will not collect ideas in this hour. Not all the truth that's written on a page will heal a simple heartache. There are no such things as many solutions. There is only one demonstration. The realization of the Christ in present consciousness. This is our way. We will learn to sit down inside a storm without bargaining, without self-accusation, and wait until that inner assurance dawns, the warmth, the loosening, the sense that the Father is on the scene. Then the past, which only lived by our attention, falls unheeded. The moment you stop rehearsing, you begin living, because God is, now, here, in the very midst of you. Now, let us look plainly at why the mind replays. It promises a bargain. If I go over it again, I will fix it. If I analyze one more angle, I will be safe. If I feel it fully, I will empty it. But the replay never finishes. It is an account that never reaches its final payment. Each time you sign your name to that contract, you do not close the matter. You reopen it. You do not dissolve the feeling. You stamp it freshly into your nerve and breath. Notice how faithful that mind is to its promise of control, and how diligently it keeps you from peace. The more you hold the picture to keep yourself safe, the more the picture holds you in its safety. The more you try to get relief by working the scene, the less relief you have, because you are still feeding the scene with your sacred attention. At first, a memory appears like a cloud on the horizon. We could say, a memory is appearing. But watch the subtle shift. In a few moments we are saying, this is me. This is what I am. And then we carry yesterday into every conversation today. We walk into a room and do not meet the room. We meet the room through a lens. We answer a friend, but we are answering the one in yesterday's movie. We hear a tone in a voice that isn't there, and we give a response that is required by a script we did not tear up. This is how replay becomes identity. How we stitch yesterday's costume onto today's body and call it wisdom. Not that we are wrong for remembering. Memory has its holy function. But we suffer when we let memory pose as present reality and demand present tribute. So it is, we keep thinking that more mind will mend what mind has complicated. We add words to words, explanations to explanations, justifications to justifications, and we wonder why the ache is unimpressed. Not all the truth that's written in 100 books will heal a simple heart tremor when it is used as mental ammunition. I of my own self can do nothing. It has to be God's grace. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ here, now. Stop trying to demonstrate relief by force of thought. Stop trying to conquer the picture. Let loose right now. Release it, loose it, and let it go. Not by pushing it down, but by withdrawing your holy light from it. We are not going to fight memories. Fighting keeps them important. We are going to starve them. A picture only lives by the attention we pay at its ticket window. Close the window, turn within. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. Not a struggle, not a performance, an unfeeding. Give your attention to presence. God is. Peace is not something sent to you from afar. Christ doesn't send these things. Christ is these things, and as attention rests in God is, the loop loses its audience and cannot go on. If it rises again, do not dramatize. Do not be discouraged. Simply return. Again and again return, until returning becomes your nature, and yesterday's claims become what they always were. Passing suggestions before the face that is here. Here is the great reversal. And it is not a philosophy, but a change of government in your consciousness. You are not here to heal the past. You are here to realize the present. The past does not yield because we work on it. It yields because it has no life apart from the attention we gave it. Its only breath was our belief that safety lived back there and could be retrieved by review. When we stop rehearsing, we are not abandoning safety. We are returning to the only place safety exists. God is. Now we have all tried the other way. We have recited lines. We have read paragraphs. We have crafted perfect explanations about why it happened and what it meant. And afterward the pulse still raced, the jaw still set. Not because truth is weak, but because the letter is not the Christ. Not all the truth ever written can dissolve a single sting if it remains words in a book and does not rise as realized presence. Freedom is not in accumulating spiritual sentences. Freedom is in the activity of God felt here, now. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one, the realization of the Christ in your consciousness. So let the cadence write itself across your inner sky until it is law to you. God is, not was. Christ is, not was. Life is, not was. Therefore, your safety is not a deposit in a yesterday bank, drawing interest on remembrance. Safety is an activity, not a storage. It is the isness of God animating your present breath. Christ doesn't send peace like a parcel. Christ is peace. Christ doesn't send release. Christ is release. And as you abide in IS, the memory may parade, but it cannot occupy your seat. Do not aim to make the memory go away. Aim to be seated where it cannot seat you. When the picture comes, do not argue with it. Argument is a tether. Do not bury it. Suppression is secret feeding. Turn within. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. Wait not for a scene to change, but for the inner assurance, the soft loosening, the warmth, the quiet, I am here. When that touch comes, you may find the picture has faded, or you may find it still faintly outlined. Either way, it is disarmed. It is not in your chair. This is the reversal at work. You withdraw jurisdiction from yesterday and restore it to the presence. You are not trying to fix persons or punish events or improve a script. I of my own self can do nothing. The Father within doeth the works. Because there is only one Spirit, your realization will register as harmony where it is welcome, but your task is single. Abide in IS until it abides as you. And now take this into your day. The knock of yesterday may sound. Answer not as defendant, but as witness. God is, not was. Sit down inside that truth. Be still. Wait. Let peace announce itself from the center out, and notice how the past, deprived of your breath, returns to what it always was. A suggestion passing before the face that does not pass. Now let us take the step that turns this from idea to way. Dropping the picture is not pushing it down. It is ceasing to nourish it. Suppression is a clench. Release is a loosening. Suppression is you, with all your might, holding a door shut while the storm batters it. And you call that safety, though your body trembles at the hinge. Release is you opening the hand. Let loose right now. Release it, loose it, and let it go. Not by force, not by defiance, but by taking your attention off the door and turning where the calm is. I, of my own self, can do nothing. It has to be God's grace. The more you try to conquer the picture, the more you announce it as power. The more you loose it and let it go, the less substance it has, because you have withdrawn the only substance it ever claimed, your attention. The first practical step is simple and holy. Label the event correctly. A memory is appearing. Do not say, I am back there. You are not in that room. You are not in that hour. You are here, in the presence. The event may be on the screen, but you are in the theater seat where God is. This one recognition restores the present as the location of your being. At the instant you say inwardly, a memory is appearing, you have unfastened the hook by which the scene pretended to carry you away. Now you are not the movie, you are the witness in whom God is. Then remember the law of attention. Whatever you give attention to, you give life to. A picture thrives when you stare at it, even if your stare is resistance. We do not stand in front of the poster hoping it will fade. We turn from the wall to the source. We do not rehearse rebuttals, explanations, edicts to the past. We turn within. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. Let the picture do what pictures do, flicker. Your task is not the flicker. Your task is the light. For training wheels in the surge, keep a mantra that is short and living. Let it be this: God is. God is here. God is within. Be still. No long affirmations while the wave is high. No speeches to yourself. Let the sequence place you where grace can be felt. God is. God is here. God is within. Be still. Not to make anything happen, but to step out of the way of what is already happening as the life of God. And what is turning within in practice? Soften the eyes so you are not gripping at the world. Unclench the jaw. Feel the breath as it enters and leaves without your command. Let attention rest, as it were, behind the heart. Back of thought, back of picture. Do nothing now but wait. Wait, not as a worker measuring progress, but as a child in a sanctuary, trusting that the presence which is here will announce itself. Often it will be a warmth, a soft loosening, a sense that the center has become quiet. Sometimes no sensation, only the hush that says, I am. That is enough. Christ doesn't send release. Christ is release. When that touch is felt, the picture may still be faintly there, but it no longer occupies your seat. If, while you wait, the image flares, do not strike at it. Let it pass like a train that does not stop at this station. Do not board. A memory is appearing. God is. God is here. God is within. Be still. In this way, you do not conquer memories by force. You cease feeding the picture, and you rest attention in God is, until the isness of God, realized, becomes the law of peace in the very place where yesterday once pretended to rule. Now let us practice. When the surge comes, at the sink, in a meeting, in a grocery line, you will not arrange a ceremony. You will enter a sanctuary that is already here. Whether you sit or stand, allow the body to be natural. Eyes may be open or closed. Do not make a performance of stillness, make a surrender of it. I of my own self can do nothing. It has to be God's grace. So we turn. Step 1 is recognize. Say within, without ornament, something is trying to pull me into then. Not the whole story. Not who said what, not where it happened. Recognition, not rehearsal. This simple honesty loosens the hook, for it names not the scene, but the pull. You are not back there. A memory is appearing. Step 2 is release. Whisper within, I let loose of the past's demand that I relive it now. And exhale, a real, unhurried exhale. Let the jaw soften. Let the shoulders fall an inch. Open the hands, even slightly, as a sign to your own heart that you will not grip. Release it, loose it, and let it go. Not by force, by giving it nothing to feed upon. With that breath, you have returned jurisdiction to the presence. Step 3 is return. Let the mantra carry you like a simple boat. God is. God is. God is. Let the words be few and living. With each inward saying, let the sound grow quieter until it is only a sense, a felt isness without syllables. God is here. God is within. Be still. Do not try to get rid of the picture. Do not try to get peace. Stop trying to demonstrate anything. I of my own self can do nothing. The Father within doeth the works. Step 4 is wait. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. Wait without stopwatch or bargaining. Watch for the inner shift, the warmth that spreads, the softening in the center, the settling of breath, or even a plain neutrality, steady and uncolored. Do not force sensation. Do not measure outcome. If nothing is felt, let the nothing be holy space. Your waiting is your consent for grace to be what it is. Step 5 is seal. When the touch or the quiet assurance is present, say within, not loudly, but with reverence, "The Father is on the scene." Not a distant rescue. This is the very substance of now. Rest there for a few breaths. Let that realization permeate the throat, the heart, the belly. Christ doesn't send peace. Christ is peace. Christ doesn't send release. Christ is release. Stay until you know, without argument, that the center is occupied. This takes 3 minutes. You can step into it anywhere, any hour. In the middle of the surge, you can release the pull of then and rest in the presence of IS until peace returns. And if the train whistles again, you know the platform. Recognize, release, return. Wait, seal. The practice is simple because God is simple. The authority of yesterday ends here, in the living now that is already in the midst of you. Be still, then wait. Now, do not make a superstition of your first piece. Do not say, "It worked," and then grow afraid when the mind offers the picture again. The mind is a faithful clerk. It delivers what has been ordered often. If it brings the parcel back to your door, that is not failure. It is another invitation, and the invitation is always the same. Return. Not to a technique as a charm, but to the living is that is your only safety. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. So it is, when the train whistles again, do not dramatize the whistle. Do not condemn yourself for hearing it. Step onto the same platform you now know by heart. Recognize, release, return, wait. Seal. Gently, faithfully, without speeches. One sincere return outweighs 1,000 mental arguments with the past. 1 minute in living presence accomplishes what hours of analysis cannot. I of my own self can do nothing. The Father within doeth the works. Establish a rhythm. After your first realization today, renew it 6 hours later. On purpose, not as strain, but as remembrance. Sit down inside your own awareness for a minute or two, and let the same inner assurance rise. If the day is loud, do it every hour, not as labor, but as returning home to check that the light is on and the door is open. Soon it will become unnecessary to schedule, because the activity of Christ will be your atmosphere. You will find yourself already centered before the next picture arrives, and the picture, unhoused, will pass by like weather. Now, guard against a subtle trap. Do not measure your progress by the absence of memories. That is counting waves and calling it seamanship. Measure by obedience to return. Did you come back quicker? Did you withhold argument and give consent to presence? That is growth. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ in your consciousness now. Each so-called recurrence is not a new battle to be won. It is the same single grace realized again, until realization is habit, and habit is identity. When the picture appears tomorrow, do not outfit yourself for war. Do not promise, "This is the last time." Promises are drama. Drama is more attention to the movie. Just return. Be still. Then wait. Wait until there is the soft warmth, or the quiet yes, or even the holy neutrality that says, "I am here." Seal it. The Father is on the scene. Then go on with your day. If it comes again, return again. If it comes 10 times, return 10 times. Not as struggle, but as the simplest act of fidelity. In this way, the practice ceases to be an event and becomes your way of being. The past will try the handle, find it unlatched to nothing, and go. God is. Christ is. And in that is, the authority of yesterday is dissolved without drama. Because you have not fed it, you have only come home. There comes a quiet change in the words you use about yourself. And that change tells you the government has shifted. Where once the inner sentence ran, "This happened to me, therefore I am," you begin to hear another speech rise from a deeper center. A suggestion is presenting itself, but I abide in God. The first is a citizen of yesterday, licensed by memory to legislate your present. The second is a witness of the living now, refusing to grant yesterday a throne in today. So it is that what you had called my story is seen for what it is, scenery on a screen. And you, no longer pressed into the role, are seated where the light is. God is. Christ is. And in that isness, the past loses its badge of authority and becomes a passing suggestion before the face that does not pass. Remember the buried and risen pattern, for it is not poetry, it is the law of liberation. Christ buried under the tombstone of old scenes, mossy names, dates, and grievances chiseled in thought, is not your Savior. Christ risen in your consciousness is the miracle worker. Not all the truth inscribed on that stone, not all the explanations you could carve into it, will heal a simple sting. I of my own self can do nothing. The Father within doeth the works. When the Christ is realized as present activity, what was entombed as a story becomes light, no longer fixed, no longer heavy, no longer able to hold you in the grave of I am what happened. Now do not miss the humility of the sign. Sometimes the release announces itself as warmth, a soft loosening that moves through the center. Sometimes it appears as what you might have once called nothing, a simple lack of reaction, a holy neutrality. Do not despise that neutrality. It is not indifference. It is enthronement. It means the seat is occupied. The picture may still flicker at the edge, but there is no one running to serve it. The thought may knock, but there is no royal audience granted. In that quiet, say within, the Father is on the scene, and go on. The lack of drama is the sign that drama lost its stage. Understand, release is not denial. We are not falsifying history, pretending that no words were spoken, no deeds were done. We are refusing to pay them with present life force. We are closing the ticket window through which the inner movie sells us the right to be troubled. We release persons from the cast they played in our remembrance. We cease charging them interest in our breath. We do not argue them into sainthood, nor do we keep them in costumes. We return them, and ourselves, into the I-S, where identity is not a role, but a reality. What, then, are the first fruits? Decisions become cleaner, because they are not weighed down by yesterday's fog. You answer the phone without building a courtroom around it. Speech becomes kinder, because you are not preloading every sentence with defense. Anticipatory dread relaxes. You do not enter a room scouting for the ghost of a scene. Joy returns in simple places, at the sink, in a doorway, on a quiet street, not as a prize for fixing yesterday, but as the natural weather of presence. You will notice that you meet the very person who once triggered the theater, and, without rehearsal, you find yourself free to be present, sometimes with a word, sometimes with a smile, sometimes with silence. That is not you having improved a story. That is Christ risen in your consciousness, being the law of harmony unto your experience. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ now. As that realization firms, the past is demoted to what it always was, a passing suggestion, and the scepter is restored to the I-S. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. Wait until the inner assurance stands. Let it govern. Walk out into your day under that government. God is. Christ is. And under that reign, yesterday has no right to collect rent in today. Now we come to the tender place, where pictures wear faces. Rumination makes an altar of a person, and keeps them enthroned as offender, betrayer, judge, or missing love. Then, even when the room is empty, we meet them again, and again within. And we do not speak to the one before us today. We speak to yesterday's actor in today's costume. So the mind preserves safety by preserving roles, and we wonder why there is no freshness in our seeing. The more we try to hold them to what they did, the more it holds us to what we felt. Let loose right now. Release it, loose it, and let it go. Here is a freedom word for your heart. Stop trying to demonstrate somebody. Stop trying to make them apologize, understand, change, or repay, at least inwardly. Every such attempt keeps you bonded to a picture and obligates you to rehearse it. I of my own self can do nothing. It has to be God's grace. Do not try to demonstrate a better spouse, a kinder parent, a wiser boss. Stop trying to demonstrate anybody. Turn within. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. When the inner assurance comes, you have returned jurisdiction to the I-S, where persons are not projects and love is not a negotiation. Non-personalize both sides of the scene. You are not the injured one. You are the witness in whom God is. They are not the offender. They are, in truth, hid with Christ in God, whether they know it or not. Release them into the Father's care as you release yourself. Say within, quietly and sincerely, I release you into the bosom of the Father. I am not your keeper. God is. Christ doesn't send forgiveness. Christ is forgiveness. The law of harmony realizing itself where we stop demanding payment. When you meet them at the doorway or on the phone, carry this simple line as a lamp to your feet. This conversation is now. God is here. I do not bring yesterday to today. Let that be your inner governor. Do not prepare speeches. Do not preload the room with defense. Be still within the exchange. Then wait, yes, even mid-sentence, for the soft assurance that the Father is on the scene. You will notice words simplify, tones soften, or silence serves. Because there is only one soul, one mind, one spirit, your realization will register as harmony, where harmony can be received. But hear this clearly. We are not sending thoughts to change another or to influence an outcome. Forget them and their behavior as objects to be worked on. Sit down and realize Christ. In the oneness of consciousness, they may feel the lift without thinking of you. And if not, your peace remains intact. So it is. Release people from the cast they played in your memory by returning to I-S. Meet them and yourself in the freshness of now. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ in your consciousness. Under that reign, relationship ceases to be a courtroom and becomes a sanctuary where God is the atmosphere, and yesterday has no right to speak. Now let us sit together in the way that ends the rule of the loop, not by force, but by yielding. Begin with the humility that opens the door. I of my own self can do nothing. It has to be God's grace. Say it within, softly, for it disarms the compulsion to make anything happen. We are not here to work a lever. We are here to consent. Let the body be as it is. Feel the feet where they meet the floor, the weight of the hips in the chair, the length of the spine as it quietly remembers uprightness without strain. Loosen the jaw. Let the tongue rest. Soften the eyes as if you could see from behind them. Let the hands be easy, on the lap, unclenched. Feel what is already in contact. Fabric against skin, air on the face, breath moving in and out without your command. We are not arranging breath, we are witnessing breath. God is breathing His life as you. Now, if pictures rise, and they may, allow them to be in the room without granting them the throne. A memory is appearing. Let it be a guest in the corner, not a king on the dais. We do not suppress and we do not serve. We sit in the center where God is. Bring the softest inner question, not as a hunt, but as a door. Where is God? And let awareness answer itself. Here. Do not push the reply with words. Do not paint it with images. Ask once, like a bell, and let the resonance name the room. Here. If a warmth gathers, if a loosening comes, receive it. If only a plain hush fills the center, honor it. Christ doesn't send stillness. Christ is stillness. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. Enter sacred waiting now. 30 seconds of quiet, not timing with a clock, but trusting the length of a gentle breath cycle. Wait without bargaining. When thought knocks, do not follow. When feeling flares, do not stamp it out. A memory is appearing. God is. Then another 30 seconds. Again the same reverent pause. This waiting is the work. Receptivity invites grace. Grace performs the dissolving. I of my own self can do nothing. The Father within doeth the works. Again ask, scarcely more than a whisper of attention. Where is God? And let here answer you from the inside out. Rest in that here for another minute. Feel how the seat is occupied. Not you enthroned over thoughts, but presence quietly being presence. If release announces itself as warmth, or if it appears as simple neutrality, both are the seal that the Father is on the scene. Now, without breaking the thread, seal the sitting with a true word. Only God is happening here. Let it register through the head, the heart, the belly. Only God is happening here. Open the eyes gently, but do not leave. Stand if you must, walk if you will, answer the phone if it rings. Carry the here into motion. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one, the realization of the Christ now. Stillness and waiting have not been passive. They have been your doorway. Walk on in the same hush that found you, and let grace keep doing what grace alone can do. Now let us set the rhythm that keeps the door open all day, not as labor, but as life. A short morning return, a brief midday pause, an evening release. Simple, faithful, not dramatic. On waking, before the hand finds the phone, sit inside and acknowledge the government of your day. God is. God is here. God is within. Be still and know that I am in the midst of you. Then wait. Wait for the inner assurance, the warmth, the loosening, or the plain hush. Seal it. The Father is on the scene. Only then pick up the day. You have not armed yourself. You have enthroned the presence that needs no arms. At midday, before you open messages or break bread, pause a minute and return. Let the mantra be light but living. God is here. I of my own self can do nothing. The Father within doeth the works. Be still. Then wait. Do not count this minute as interruption. It is alignment. It resets the atmosphere so the mind's clerk cannot turn one email into a courtroom. In the evening, before sleep, do not review the day to correct it. Release the day to dissolve it. Whisper within, I loose this day. I release every person to the bosom of the Father. I rest in is. Then wait for the quiet yes. Fall asleep in that presence. You will discover that rest taken in God is rest that restores. Learn, too, the holy art of micro-returns. Before opening messages, this reply is now. God is here. Before you drive past the old street, a memory may appear. God is. Be still. Then wait. One breath, two. Before a family gathering, with your hand on the door, I do not bring yesterday to today. The Father is on the scene. Enter without costume or defense. We are not managing scenes. We are acknowledging the presence that outshines them. Stop trying to demonstrate anybody or anything. Realize Christ. Understand the aim. Not a mind polished to mirror perfection, but a life established in the presence that renders mind a servant. You are not becoming a person who never remembers. You are becoming a consciousness in which memories have no chair. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ in your consciousness now. Because there is only one soul, one mind, one spirit, this realized atmosphere will quietly register as harmony where it can be received, and even where it is not, your peace will stand. This is promise as law. As you practice returning, the past loses its emotional weight, and the future its fear, because you live where God is, now. So let the cadence carry you. Let loose. Be still. Wait. Trust the inner assurance. Then go about your day without dragging yesterday behind you. Walk, answer, speak, and rest in the tense of is. God is. Christ is. And in that is, grace becomes your normal air.